Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And I was showing you the other day the unboxing of my pre-order, and I was showing you some of the lovely things that you can earn from the 3rd of August to the 30th of September, which is called Saleabration. And for every £45 that you spend in any of the other catalogues, you then qualify to get something out of this absolutely free. So I thought that I would start with the lovely counting sheep, and then there is a coordinating set of dies which is called sheep dies, and these are just lovely. I know that they are going to be so popular. Everything during Saleabration is obviously while stocks last. And you can imagine, I think the stocks are going to go very quickly, because these dies, you've got all sorts of pieces in them. So I've done a little bit of die cutting first of all, and I thought that we would make a fairly simple card, but just so that we can see some of the pieces put together and how easy they are. So I turned around and said to you that the fence was going to be something that I really wanted to do. So I've cut some of the fence pieces out, and it's absolutely lovely. I've done this in Sahara sand, and you can see I'm just going to get a piece of basic white so we can put this on here. But if I bring this up fairly close, hopefully you can see all the detail on that die, so you really get the fence look with all of this sort of embossing on there as well. And if we look at the pieces, you can have them one way up or the other, it really doesn't matter, but you can then put them one against the other and they can sort of slot together, or you can put them sort of up together like that so they slot together. You can put them, which I thought that I would do on this one, with this side butted up against the side and just have one piece going. So you can put it along as a fence and have it probably put one at the center and then balance it at other side, and then you'd cut it off so you could have a fence running all the way along. But I'm just going to use one today, and we're going to have that butted up against the side like that. There's also pieces which can be clouds, or I'm going to use them as grass, because I think you can use them as grass as well. So I've just cut some of these out in Pear Pizzazz, because that was sort of the scrap that I had, and I had a mat in that already. So I thought that we could probably put that in along maybe on the bottom, and I think there are two different dies, so you've got two different shaped pieces, and I think, if I can pick these up with my fingers, that you can put this sort of one in underneath the other, and then maybe we can put another one sort of in on the top here to sort of have a bit of a, you know, grassy ridge going on. So I think we'll use that. We've also got a little flag, so I think the flag's going to go on the top, and I've just done that out in a blue. And we've got a really rather lovely sunshine with a stitched element in round on the inside, so I thought that we'd use that as well. So those are the dies. Then on the stamp set, we've got all the different lovely sheep. So because I'm going to have the fence, I'm going to have one jumping over the fence, and I'm going to have one sort of standing up, I think. So let's see how these are going to cut. I haven't used them yet, so we want the leaping sheep, which is going to be this one. So let me just get this one out. And we're going to have the, oh, there's a little piece that pokes out. That's quite good. Pokes out in the centre. So that means that you're not going to get that inked up and cause a mess in on the inside of the ink, I think. And that little shape we might be able to use for something. And then, so that's the one that stands up, that's the one that's leaping. So we need to stamp both of those out, and then we're going to die cut them out. So again, this one has got a little piece in on the center here, so we can take that out. And again, I quite often find that if you save these little pieces and put them on, you can get all sorts of different shapes and things from them. So, you know, don't throw them away straight away. See what else you can do with them. As I've always said, waste not, want not. Okay, and we're probably going to make it a birthday, so I'm going to put "so glad it's your birthday" on there. So I need to get myself a block out which is going to fit this one. So I think this one is probably going to be, will that one fit? Not quite. We're going to use the one that's just up a bit from there. So take that block. And I want to die cut these, so let's put them down like that. And I've got a choice of doing them in black or doing them in a smoky slate or a subtle. I think I'm going to use black because the sheep really are a sort of an outline. So let me just get my memento to do in black, and I need some... I'm just looking for some, have I got some scrap here? Yes, I have. I think that will work. I've got some scrap down on here. So let's use this for my scrap. And so we're going to stamp, use memento. And we'll have one of the sheep like that. He's quite fun. I need my Simply Chamois, so let's take that out of there. Give that a bit of a clean. Lovely image, actually. It's really rather nice. And then let's put the other one on. So this is the one that's going to be the leaping sheep. And again, I'm using the memento. And I'm going to put this one just up on here. As I say, always use your scraps for bits and pieces where you're going to do some die cutting. I love those sheep. I think they're lovely. So sheep have white or cream coloured sort of coats. So I think I'm going to get my pencils out for this, just because it's quite nice to use different things. So you can use, as I've said, we have so many different colouring mediums, but I do like the pencil sometimes for little things like that. And I'm going to do his little feet in black because their little feet would be black. So just colouring his little hooves in the black. Just like that. Colour this one in. And these ones here. And we could have them completely white, or I think I'm just going to do a little bit of shading. Not a lot, just a little bit. And I want to try and use the side of my pencil to just sort of add just a little bit on the sheep so that they're not too stark, as it were. So I'm going to keep their face white, but I'm just doing, I think sheep can be quite sort of creamy looking, can't they? But so I could use sort of a pale yellow, but I think just to have a little bit of the, it's basic grey, this pencil, so I'm not doing a lot. You might not even be able to see it on the camera. It depends how well it's coming out, but I just wanted to just tone it down a little bit and not have it quite so stark, because I think it'll stand out a little bit on the paper. Okay, so I've just done a very light shading, and you can always, I think with a pencil sometimes it's quite nice, you just rub your finger across, it can just soften it without making it too stark. So you can see I'm just literally rubbing it in. You could do it with the chalks as well, but that's what I've got out at the moment. Okay, so we now have the dies that go with this. So we've got the 3 different types. Let me have a look and see how easy they are. So that's obviously the one that's lying that way. Okay, and then this is going to be the one that's standing up, and we'll have him out like that. Okay, let me just get my Big Shot out, and then we can, oops, right, hopefully you can see some of that. I tend to got some stuff already out on there that I was obviously die cutting out earlier. So let's have a look at these ones and see. We've got, in fact, I'm going to do it this way, because I find dies, if you take the smallest side of the die to put it through, it will come out. And I'm doing them one at a time because I've got my magnetic plate on, and it really does work better if you don't have too much and you're not sticking it down with sticky tape, which I'm not. So I'm just going to put that down, run him through. Reach that out. So that's one of the little sheep cut out. Oh yes, very nice little die. So that's one. And then let's do this other one. So we're going to have him up like this. We can have him this way, because again, when you're die cutting, if you use the smallest side of the die, it will go through smoother. And if you've got square dies and things, always slightly, or rectangular dies, just slightly offset them a bit. I've got to get this on the magnet part so that it doesn't slide about. Perfect. So let's put him in like that, and we'll run this one through quickly. Now, if you haven't got a die cutting machine, we do stock one. This is the old one that we used to have. We have a new one. But as I've said to you, I'm going to show you a lot of things to do with punches this time. And you can always fussy cut them out. You won't have the added pieces of the fence and things, but you will have, you can fussy cut the sheep out if you want to. Okay, so let's have a look at this and see what we can do. So we've got a piece of basic white. We've got the sheep that we've just sort of slightly coloured. Now, this fence, I wanted to have it just going in like this. I'm not sure quite how high up I'm going to have it. Probably not too high. Let's try and sort of about there. And I want one of the sheep to be sort of jumping over the fence with joy. So let's see if I can put this in like this. Or excuse me a minute, my phone's just ringing. Let me just see what's right, apologies for that. I should have turned it on to silent. I never do, because I never know whether family's going to call, and unfortunately I do get quite a few sales calls during the day. So so I might just have this like that. I'm not sure. I might put it on the other side. And move this maybe across a bit. or I could turn it round so it's facing the other way. I think this flag we could have going either way, so that would work that way, wouldn't it? And so he's flying up over there like that. We want this one down on here, sort of waving hello, and then we're going to have these pieces running across the bottom. Okay, now you could do something to the background. I'm not going to on this one. I'm just going to keep it, you know, fairly simple. We've got the sunshine as well, and there's quite a lot going on. So let me just get some wet glue. Reach out and get my wet glue. You can put these on with dimensionals if you want to, but I think I'm just going to do it with wet glue, which is always my favourite. And I'm going to do a couple of pieces first and just see, because I think I wanted 3, didn't I? And I'm not sure whether I'm going to have them all the way across, because I don't know whether I want them to stand in on the way of the fence. I quite like the fence on its own, just sort of sticking out like that. So if I put this one in just sort of underneath, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because I think I might just like to have a bit of a gap. I'm going to tuck one in underneath. So I'm not sure whether I've got both the same ones. I think I've got both the same ones here. I don't think that matters too much. So I'm going to stuck one underneath and the other one right busted up to the side of the card like that. And then I wanted to tuck one in underneath. So just like that in on the top. And I think I'm going to have to do another one. Let's do a little piece like this coming out on there. So I'm going to have to cut that piece off a bit, but I think that gives a little bit of a sort of a grassy ridge that they can sit onto. I'm not overly sticking it down at the moment because I think I'm going to tuck my sheep who's standing up this way just in underneath on here, because we don't want him jumping up too much. I think if he's tucked just in a little bit like that with his feet in, that might look a little bit better rather than him, or he could be jumping up in the air. Don't know. Let's have a little play and see. So if I tuck this one in like that, and then I'm going to cut this piece off of here. Let me get my snip. So we've just got a bit of sort of grassiness going on like that. So that gives us our bit of grass. This piece we want to go in like this on here. And I can put that one down completely. Now, do I want to have a little piece of this just going in underneath? I'm not sure. I think I want another piece in on here because that's given. I've got a bit of a gap showing on there, so I'm going to have another piece just stuck in there. I had a little bit of a space, and I think you can sort of build it up as much as you like. I'm just sort of playing around a bit. That's better. So you've got the different layers going on there. So this is going to be taken, and I want this part of the fence right up against there. So let's just give this, I do like this die. I think this is very good. I'm quite interested as well. I think you could actually build a complete sort of 3D on this, because there's little pieces that are, don't know whether you can see, that are actually cut almost right the way through, that I think you could probably bend and make a little box or you know, a 3D element on a pop-up or something like that. So I'm going to have a look at that and see what I can create. I love when you look at something for the first time and you're just sort of going, oh, that looks fun, or that looks fun. So I'm just going to have this running through on here, and I am having it not completely down at the bottom. Now I could have cut, there's some little bits of grass, so I could have tucked some grass under there, and we might be able to do that, I don't know. And I'm going to have I think I'm going to have the sheep like balancing on one foot on here. I think that that would be quite fun. So we'll have him like that, and we want this one jumping over the fence like that. We've got the sunshine, so we can tuck the sunshine sort of slightly behind. I think that would work. I've still got this, and this might... Is this going to go this way? I'm not sure of this piece actually going on. We could have it so that it's again is underneath. But I don't know whether it actually adds something or whether it's just going to detract on it. As I say, it should go this way round. So it would stick up on there, but it's going to be a little bit too far out. If I put it in on this one, I'd have to have it right in sort of underneath, maybe to that sort of angle. Let's see if he'll go over the top from there. Yes, he will. Now, does that balance at all? Maybe, maybe. I want to have a sentiment in here. So before I finished, I wanted the so glad it's your birthday. So let's put this on a little, have I got a piece of scrap out? I thought I'd added a little piece of, here we go. That's a piece of scrap. That'll do. So glad it's your birthday. Let's have a look at this one. I quite like the font on this as well. It's rather, it's a different, I love birthday sentiments and things that are slightly different. And we do come up with lots and lots and lots of different ways of doing birthday. And it's one of those things that, you know, you sort of think there can't be any more types of font. And, you know, yet again, we've got this lovely one, so glad it's your, and then you've got birthday in nice sort of lettering. It's I don't know what fonts they are, but I think that looks quite good. Is that straight? I think that'll be all right. So let me take the memento again, and we'll just put this in on this one like that. So glad it's your birthday. Yes, you see, I do like that font. I think that's lovely. Let me just clean that one off with my Simply Chamois. And then we can start sort of putting it together. So we need, I think this sentiment I'm going to just fussy cut it out. Didn't want that piece. So I'm just going to take this straight down on there. That looks about straight. And then we'll have this across on here. I could mat it, but I don't think I'm going to actually. I think I might just have it just like that, although that needs to be, is that about right, or do I need to take, I need to take just a little bit off the top here actually. So that's better. So glad it's your birthday. Okay, so let's move this out of the way a little bit and see how we're doing. So we've got the sheep coming up there. Then we want, so I'm going to put him just back a little bit because I want the birthday piece here that can go behind. This little one that can go up here. We'll have the sun at the top. That I think is going to be okay. So I'm going to put the sheep up with dimensionals and have the birthday thing underneath, I think, because I think that that will just add a little bit of layering going on. So let's find some dimensionals. And as I say, this is a very sort of simple first go. you know, we'll be adding more things and playing with it a little bit more. But I always think, you know, first time, try and use quite a few of the things that you've got. And you see, we've got this little bit of grass on here, and I don't know how big that is, whether that will tuck in underneath on here. Oh, it might do actually. Should we have a little look and see if we can put just a little bit of grass in on the bottom? Right, I need to get my pear pizzazz out, don't I? So let's... Okay, that's a little bit of pear pizzazz. Now, I probably would have done it before I stuck the die cuts down, but I don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference if we just sort of tuck it in like that. Oh, you see, that looks quite good. Just tuck it in down at the bottom. A little bit on that side. And I'm going to take it all the way down. And in fact, it looks quite good to have done it so that it comes sort of over the top, and you can do it a few times because we're obviously doing it on layers down on here. So I'm just taking some pieces, and I'm actually going to be doing some over the top of where these little pieces are that I've introduced as grass, but by stamping over it you give a little bit more of a definition of grass. That looks quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, so that's given that little piece on there. So we wanted dimensionals, didn't we? So I've got my dimensionals out. I'm going to do the sheep with dimensionals. So we'll have just a couple on there like that, and we'll have a couple on there to just pop them up so that they're leaping about a bit. And we'll have, so I'm going to place them so I know what's going to go underneath. So we've got this one leaping up like this over the top. We've got this one coming right down to there, and then we want this birthday just in underneath. And I'm not having that up with dimensionals because I want the different layers and height coming through. So let me just pop a little bit of wet glue in here, and then we can put that in just where we're going to have it in like that. So I'm going to put that down like that. Then we've got our sheep doing our cute things, and then we want the sun, which I can tuck in afterwards. So let's have this first one, and then we can balance the other one. So this one is going to come up from here, leaping over the fence, and he's just going to have his front little hooves over the So Glad. Then we're going to put this one in, and we're going to have him just literally again on one leg, which I think looks quite good. And I want just a little bit of it going over the top. So put him at that angle on one leg, which I think is quite amusing. And then we've just got the sun, which we can tuck in underneath. So all I've done is just use the dies to give the background scene. And again, you could use some pattern paper if you wanted to. You could use some, just put that in there. You could use some sponging to give a little bit of background colouring on there. I'm going to put it on. I got myself out a piece of the pear pizzazz to go in underneath. And I think that that looks really rather sweet, actually. I think that's quite fun. It's a fun, amusing, whimsical sort of birthday. And as I say, I think the sheep are lovely. So I've just used one panel. As I say, we could take it across, but I think that that works. The only thing I haven't used is the little flag, and I think that might work actually. I'm going to cut down the just the flagpole on that down a little bit, because I don't want it sticking up too much. Let's see if that'll take it to where I want it. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm just going to do that. That just breaks it up in the center, and again, still keeps it fairly simple, but just gives that little extra little bit of interest in on the center. And this is a great way of using up tiny weeny scraps. As I say, I've just used, trying to get different colors in, but colors that will go quite nicely together. So we'll have this stuck up in like that, and that's our little flagpole in the center. So, and then it goes in on there, and as I say, you've got a really fun little scene for a birthday. I could have stuck some hats on, but I think it looks quite nice, a sort of a countrified, even work quite well as a masculine card as well, because I think you know, it's just that sort of whimsical thing. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind. Look forward to seeing you again. And if you haven't subscribed, please look at subscribing, because I really enjoy doing videos for you to all watch. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.